A driver was hospitalised after an incident that happened during testing, which is something that we rarely hear about happening nowadays. So, how did it happen? Well, F1 Academy took to the Jeddah Corniche Circuit between the 4th and the 6th of April, and this was to complete a total of 16 hours of testing. It was a great opportunity for them, especially the rookies, because they will be racing on that circuit during the same race weekend as F1. In fact, you can really tell that F1 Academy wanted to use this to prepare their drivers because of when the sessions took place. Typically, F1 testing will take place over 3 days, but this will happen during daylight hours. However, with this F1 Academy testing, they took to the track on day 1 during the night time, which also happens to be the same conditions that they will be qualifying in. Now, as we all know, testing doesn't really tell us a lot, especially because it's not racing conditions. But given the fact that it is a spec series, therefore there isn't as much focus on the car as there would be for F1 testing, it can be good to give an idea of a driver's pace. And we even see that from what F1 Academy said the sessions were used for. The first 3 sessions seemed to be more for speed, and then F1 Academy said that day 2 session 2 was more moving them into clocking up miles, which was a good segue for them into day 3 because that's when they focused on race runs. So across the 6 sessions, here are the drivers that finished in the top 5 and the number of times they appeared there. Given what happened during the first race weekend of the season, I don't think it's surprising to see any of these names on here or the number of times that they appeared in the top 5. Lastly, there were 4 red flags. There was only 1 red flag on day 1, and this was during session 2, which was caused by Larson stopping at T2, and it hasn't been reported that there were any red flags during day 3, which leaves day 2, specifically session 2. Ferrara brought out one when she crashed into the Tech Pro barriers at turn 9. Later on, Pomowski hit into the barriers, which led to her stopping on track, and unfortunately for Lloyd, when she attempted to avoid the crashed car, she then got involved in the incident, which leaves the final red flag for Gademan, who hit into the barriers coming out of turn 5. And as you might have guessed, it was Gademan who was hospitalised. Now, she was only taken to hospital as more of a precautionary measure, but I'm not surprised by that given the fact that it is quite a high G-force track, and it was described as a car-wrecking crash. However, while she was discharged from hospital, she wasn't able to complete day 3 because of how much the car was damaged. At this point, I really feel for Gademan. She has had a pretty rough start to her first full season of F1 Academy.